This week's airing of HBO's explosive new documentary, Leaving Neverland, has sparked a widespread conversation on the legacy of one of the world's biggest stars.
He told me if they ever found out what we were doing, he and I would go to jail for the rest of our lives. I want to be able to speak the truth.
Allegations of abuse made against Michael Jackson in the documentary are causing some people rather, to reevaluate how they see his music. And one of those people is film critic Rad. Great to see you, my friend.
Good to see you.
Okay, so you're a big fan of the music. How do you reconcile that love with what you saw in this film?
You know, I haven't really figured that out yet. Like, like when you say I'm a big fan of this is music that I grew up with. It was foundational. Michael Jackson was the first star for me, right? Musical star. And you know, the thing is that this documentary, it gives you all these details. It paints a much clearer picture of what these men have been accusing him of. And it's devastating. But it's not like this is stuff that I didn't suspect before. You know, like we've heard this kind of stuff before without as clear a picture. And I still listen to his music, you know, and I still introduce his music to my children. And I don't know if I could continue doing that now with all of this, like with this information in the back of my head, because now it's a little more triggering. And I think Wesley Morris, he wrote this brilliant article in the New York Times about Leaving Neverland, and he talked about how we compartmentalize Michael Jackson. And it's not just compartmentalizing him in the sense of separating the artist from the art. It's that Michael Jackson as a figure was very easy to compartmentalize, because you had Jackson 5 Michael Jackson, you had white Michael Jackson, black Michael Jackson.
He himself had these different chapters in his career. So you could say, well, I like this phase of his career, or that phase of his career. This one I didn't identify with, so it would be easy to also do that with his personal life.
Exactly.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so, I mean, I just wonder if that compartmentalization now can sustain the blow that, like, you know, experiencing this documentary wields.
Well, he passed away nearly a decade ago, and we've seen accusations like this made against Michael Jackson, and indeed stars, big stars, like Bill Cosby. We've heard a chorus of defenders. We're certainly hearing that that's the case, notably from his siblings. But how does the fact that he is not here to defend himself affect this conversation?
Well, you know what? I think what that means is this conversation will never end. Because, like, you know, you can't find a conviction, you can't punish him, you're just kind of fighting air at this point, right? And the thing about, like, the reason we're hearing these things now, or that this documentary and all these details are coming out now, people will say, oh, it's unfair that you're going after Michael Jackson when he's passed away, right? That's a lot of the things I'm hearing. But the thing is, the people who have been accusing him now, they're now adults. They've been able to process what happened to him. They've been, I mean, the complicated emotions, they've been grappling with these now. And they're now coming to the realization that these are feelings that will never go away.
Yeah, and I don't know what's going on either way here as well. I was sent an article by a friend who said, you know, who's a big fan of Michael Jackson, and she said that the article says that some of these, their position on Michael Jackson has changed so much over the years that we probably can't really trust what they had to say. To me, I look at that and I say, perhaps, but an argument is also there's no one way to process trauma.
Exactly.
We've seen it before in other cases. I don't know if the parallels are here. I have no idea, but, you know, moving forward again, do we need to treat Michael Jackson music like a Kevin Spacey movie? Because in my opinion, I do believe that you can separate art from the artist. We do it all the time. There are terrible people who did terrible things and made great art 150, 200, 300 years ago. Their stuff is still hanging in museums. And we have not torn it down. So if you're saying the only difference between them and people who may have done bad things today is time, that still makes us hypocrites. So why can't we just admit that we're going to like what we like and we don't believe that we are re-traumatizing people by playing Michael Jackson music? And if it brought me joy back in the day, I should be able to still enjoy it for what it was. That's just my opinion right now. It might change in the future, but that's how I see it.
You're referring to cancel culture and whatnot, and I think everyone has their choice on how to deal with it. The bigger question is, I mean, we're having these conversations in a post-Me Too moment. Michael Jackson is much bigger than this bubble of the conversation we've been having. So, you know, I think everyone's going to treat it the same way. The question is, are we going to listen to the survivors?
Well, thank you for sharing your voice on this important conversation, and it will continue for a long time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.